Hello and welcome. I'm Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. Let's get started with the headlines this hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has inaugurated the Rising Northeast Investors Summit. The two-day event brings together key stakeholders from the world of business with the aim of boosting investments across the northeast of India. The all-party delegation led by JDU MP Sanjay Kumar Jha has met with Yasuhiro Hanashi, acting chairperson of the Research Commission on Public Security, Counter-Terrorism and Anti-Cybercrime Measures of Liberal Democratic Party and former Minister of Justice of Japan. The Jammu and Kashmir State Investigation Agency is conducting coordinated raids in 4 districts: Rajouri, Poonch, Udhampur and Ramban. Raids are taking place across 17 locations against Pakistan-sponsored narco-terrorism. As the ISI spying widens, the Uttar Pradesh ATS has made another arrest in Varanasi. The ISI spy, identified as Tufail, was sharing sensitive information about India's internal security with Pakistan. Days after India asked IMF to reconsider its 2.1 bailout package to Pakistan, an IMF delegation has met Shehbaz Sharif in Islamabad. The delegation has defended its decision, stating that the debt-ridden country has met all required targets to receive the latest loan installment. Differences between Bangladesh's caretaker administration and the military appears to have come to a head, with the army pushing Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus to hold elections by the end of the year. US President Donald Trump's administration revoked Harvard University's ability to enroll international students. The decision has left thousands of foreign students, including 788 from India, in a state of uncertainty. The British government has handed control of the strategically significant Chagos Islands to Mauritius. However, Britain retains control of the strategically important US-UK airbase on Diego Garcia under a 90-year lease. Seven multi-party delegations are articulating India's stance against terror in 33 countries across the world. In total, the 7 delegations comprise of 59 leaders. Each delegation is carrying customized dossiers prepared by Indian intelligence and foreign policy experts. These dossiers highlight Pakistan's decades-long support and promotion of terror. They detail direct links between Pakistani state institutions and terror outfits like the LET, the JEM and the Haqqani network. Additionally, clinching evidence from Mumbai, 26/11, Pathankot, Pulwama and Pahalgam attacks are elucidated upon. The financial and digital trail of terror funding from Pakistan to sleeper cells in multiple nations are also detailed. Apart from this, the Indian delegations are speaking about Pakistan's non-compliance with Financial Action Task Force norms. They are also highlighting the major international terror attacks, including the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks and the 2005 London bombings that are direct or indirect links to Pakistan. Last but not the least, the delegations are emphasizing upon the safe haven status enjoyed by UN designated terrorists such as Hafiz Saeed and Masood Azhar on Pakistani soil. Well, joining us now is Lord Rami Ranger, a parliamentarian from the United Kingdom. Welcome. Thank you for being with us today. How do you view India's efforts to send delegations to various countries abroad?
I think it's a very good initiative that people should understand India's narrative, as India has been a victim of terrorism for many, many decades. And, the world should know the consequences of terrorism for themselves also. The terrorism is not confined to India. It can, if there is a war today, the war will affect the global community. It can't be contained within one area of the world. So therefore, it is in the interest of the whole world to unite against terrorism of any shape, any form. So therefore, it is very important that we galvanize the support from the world community for our endeavor to get rid of this scourge from the humanity of terrorists who come with a surprise element and kill innocent people who have nothing to do with the conflict or with them. So that, I think, is a very good initiative, and we should be proactive rather than be reactive. So I think Prime Minister Modi has done the right thing, having all-party delegation to project India as one.
In fact, Lord Ranger, the camp India hit in Muridke was the same place that trained 2005 London bomber as well. Shouldn't the UK thank India for ensuring justice to the 52 people killed in those attacks?
Superpowers have their interest. They have no friendship with anybody. So they have to look at their interest, what suits them. They're not going to worry about what suits India. So therefore, what India did was in their own interest, because they had huge intelligence. On that basis, India launched, first attack was on the terrorist camp, and when Pakistan responded, then the second attack was on their military bases to show that India means business. So therefore, I would urge my, fellow citizens, although I'm not British, but my roots are in India, so I feel for India. So they should really understand that there are no one going to rescue them except their own people and their own government.
Now, from Paris 2015 to Charlie Hebdo shooting to the Madrid train bombings and the London attacks, why do you think the world as a whole has not been able to tackle the challenges posed by radical Islam?
First thing first, in a democracy, votes matters the most. Everybody has a vote, and these politicians who are especially elected, they are very careful that they don't upset any community with large amount of votes to alienate them. So as you can understand, a vote to the other party is loss of two to you. So in other words, if 5 million people vote against you, that means you have to secure 10 million votes to neutralize that effect of 5 million. So therefore, plus, the European and the West are a liberal democracy, and they tolerate so many things. But I think things are gone beyond toleration now, tolerance, because more and more people now, with the help of social media, are coming to understand that they have to unite to fight this. But again, you can't help any community unless they want to help themselves. I put the blame on the leadership. A community is as great as its leaders. Therefore, the leaders have to tell the people, their followers, that now in a global village, the world has shrunk through internet, through travel, to planes. We now have to work like a global citizen, because we can't just live in isolation, and our action will have a repercussion for a wider world. So I think the world has come to understand that they have to tackle, not for the benefit of other people, but the benefit of those people who are the victim of any radical religious fanatics, because they first attacked others and then they attacked their own people. So therefore, they are not, radical people are not scientists, teachers, or doctors helping humanity. They are only there to spread hatred and divide humanity for their own selfish gains.
Now, India has also been piloting a UN resolution to define terrorism. Do you believe it's time to do that then in order to tackle renewed threats and challenges?
100%. We have to be vocal, because we are, but when I say we, my country of origin has been a victim of terrorism. Innocent people have been killed. You must remember the Mumbai attack. You must remember the Pathankot. You must remember Pahalgam. Then, recently, and then so many attacks on the Indian Parliament itself, and Kashmir, J&K Assembly also. Many innocent people have lost their life for no good reason. So therefore, it is India's responsibility to protect their citizens by getting international support and also getting services, like intelligence, at the world class level, so we can avoid any sudden attack, which they do, because they have the surprise element on their side. They decide when to attack, where to attack. So therefore, India has to be proactive, protected, especially where in J&K, where there is a place where tourism is going to develop and people are going for tourism, and these terrorists want to damage the local economy because they're not friend of anybody. They're only friend for their own agenda, and that is somehow to create havoc in the world and then damage the development of the world. So therefore, I urge my country of origin that they should really put visible force on the streets so people feel secure that they are surrounded by the security personnel.
Also, Lord Ranger, India wants a united front against states and countries that are sponsoring proxies for terror purposes. Do you believe the UN now needs to identify officially these states that are doing this?
Nothing is easy unless we try harder, and we have to try hard. And first of all, we have to identify terrorists and their friends and families, and we have to bring to task, because end of the day, these terrorists are not bringing anything good to the world. They're merchant of death and destruction. So therefore, government of India has to keep trying, keep building concessions, the public opinion and the world opinion to support their narrative that we want to declare terrorists as a world phenomena, someone who damaged the society as a whole.
And how do we make the FETF respond against terror funding for states?
Well, again, United Nations can play a very important role if we can identify that this state is funding terrorist camps and terror organization. We should highlight them, bring them. We now have a very robust media, satellites and televisions. We can really make this knowledge known to the world that which state is a terror sponsor, and we should boycott them. And because now, with the grace of God, India is now a very big number 4 economic power in the world, and they have the muscle to stop trade with those countries who harbor terrorists and who support terrorism and also undermine India's rule of law and democracy with their
Also, perhaps, Lord
action.
Ranger, the world needs to hold terror state sponsors accountable in one voice. The failure to do that has actually helped lift the spirit of these terror groups, and not just one country is being harmed by them, but the entire world is.
I have been saying time and time again, the United Nations, if India is contributing, they should stop contributing to the United Nations, unless, of course, United Nations is not a talking shop. It is actually doing something good. And India has got a lot of good friends now. I mean, America is India's friend. Russia has always been India's friend. Japan, Korea, France, United Kingdom just signed free trade agreement. So the global influence of India is on the rise because of the Indian ancient value of live and let live. Indians are not the type of people who will go and cause any problem to anybody. So Indian community, wherever they go, they become asset for the adopted country. You can already see the richest man in UK is Indian. We also had a prime minister who was Indian. We have businesses like Tata is one of the largest employer in United Kingdom. Many countries benefit from the Indian diaspora. So therefore, there are friends of India. And to this time around, the American government is full of influential Indians. And government of India, I would urge them to have a meeting with them, yearly meeting, to invite the son of and daughters of India to come to Mother India and sit down and talk to the prime minister or the president or the leader to know what their Mother India is seeking from them to help bring about a positive change in the world where the citizen can go about their daily routine without fear of terror attacks. So I think we are in a very better position, but we have to leverage like you are talking to me, I'm in United Kingdom, and I have been working behind the scene to make the case for free trade agreement, saying that we share each other's value. You don't have to watch your back. We have a secular democratic country, rule of law at the heart of governance. Together, we will make a great partner because friendship only flourishes when you share uh, each other's values. You know, if I cannot have a friendship with somebody who's either a gambler or a alcoholic or somebody, I have to have friendship with like-minded people with whom I sit and enjoy. So therefore, United Kingdom understood that the benefit of having free trade agreement with a country where you don't have to watch back, unlike China, you have to watch your back and front. India is a very sober, stable country. We have a history of 200 years of working together. You know each other, and therefore they bought this narrative, and look where we are. So similarly, we will have a free trade agreement with many other countries that increases Indian influence globally. And Indian diaspora, believe you me, is the most powerful in the world because they have excelled because of their Sanatani values, because they inherited, ancient civilization. We are taught Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The word is, we are not, you know, given hatred to anybody. We live and let live. You can see the amount of cultures, nationality, languages, religion are thriving in India. My friend, a Jewish friend, told me the Jews have been in India for 2,000 years and never once they've been persecuted. What a compliment to the Indian civilization. So therefore, we should utilize Indian diaspora. We should connect. A mother who loses her children become very weak. So therefore, I urge to the Prime Minister through your channel to connect with the diaspora. At one time, we had a Minister for Diaspora. We must remain connected
Okay.
globally if India is to have an influence worldwide, and that will be through the
Absolutely. Lord Ranger, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast with your perspective on that big story. All right, more news now coming in. First, Deputy Chair of Russian Federation Council Committee on Foreign Affairs, Andrei Denisov, and other senators have held a meeting with all party delegation members. Let's in fact listen in to what they are saying there. So these are, of course, meetings taking place there in Russia. Remember, the delegation led by Kanimohi of the DMK has arrived in Russia. These are deliberations being held by them. In fact, we are learning that our Indian delegation, comprising of senior members of parliament, is meeting with the first deputy chair of the Russian Federation Council Committee on Foreign Affairs, Andrei Denisov, and also other senators. These are pictures coming in of that meeting that is currently being held in Moscow. This meeting, of course, currently taking place between our Indian delegation in Moscow and, of course, the Russian side. Let me bring in Brian Thomas for more details on this story. Brian, the delegation led by Kanimohi Karunanidhi is in Russia. They are currently briefing a high-level committee of the Russians on India's position on terror. The delegations are all abroad, Brian. They're continuing these deliberations. We are currently seeing pictures from Moscow.
Nation to present. Very importantly, Uday, yes, the delegations have been reaching to different nations to put India's stance and combat against terrorism itself, and how India is combating against terrorism, and how Pakistan is sponsoring state-backed terrorism through Lashkar-e-Toiba or any other terror group, and even now clearly in Moscow itself as part of Operation Sindoor outreach. Now the members of the Indian All-Party Parliamentary Delegation held a very critical and a very important meeting with Andrei Denisov, who is also the fourth deputy chair of the Russian Federation Council Committee on Foreign Affairs. Clearly, the meeting also witnessed a very constructive discussions on bilateral ties, strategic connections, and evolving geopolitical dynamics. And also, they had a detailed dossier also that they presented to Moscow. There were several Russian senators also who joined the talks, underlining the very shared commitment to strengthening India-Russia parliamentary and people-to-people engagement. That becomes very critical as well. And this is the latest in the series of high-level interactions also as the part of the outreach, reinforcing traditional ties with a very strategic partner itself that is called. And now the Indian all-party delegation, Uday, also met with the senators also, that was led by Andrei Denisov also, and there were talks also that was focused on India's stance against terrorism, and a detailed dossier also that was presented from India's side, and also to deepen the India-Russia ties and global cooperation itself, Uday. Yes.
All right, stay with us. More breaking news coming in. In a significant boost for the economic prospects of India's northeast, Adani Group Chairman Gautam Adani yesterday announced a 1 lakh crore investment commitment for Assam and the broader northeastern region over the next decade. Speaking at the Rising Northeast Global Investors Summit, Gautam Adani said his group's investment will focus on green energy, power, transmission, roads, digital infrastructure, logistics and human capital development. This commitment doubles the 50,000 crore investment announced by the Adani Group just 3 months ago at the Advantage Assam 2.0 summit in February. In his address, Mr. Adani praised the transformation of the Northeast under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, citing the massive infrastructure push that includes 6.2 lakh crore rupee of investment since 2014, the doubling of road network to 16,000 kilometers, and the expansion of operational airports from 9 to 18. Brian Thomas is joining us for more on this story. Brian, a big commitment being given by Gautam Adani on the Adani Group's plans for the Northeast.
Well, clearly, the Adani Group Chairman Gautam Adani announced a fresh investment of 1 lakh crore across the Northeast region over the next 10 years. That is the plan. And it also focuses on expanding the conglomerate's footprint to green energy, transport infrastructure, and digital networks and skill development. He was also speaking at the Rising Northeast Summit, where he described the region as a very vital frontier of India's growth story, citing its cultural richness and untapped economic potential. He said definitely it will be a new chapter in India's growth story that is unfolding in the hills and valleys of the Northeast. And the investment also will prioritize not just infrastructure, but also local employment, entrepreneurship, and community empowerment itself. And also this will also be focusing on green energy, that is your hydropower, pump storage, smart meters, road and highways, digital and logistics infrastructure, skilling and vocational training centers. And he also hailed Prime Minister Narendra Modi's transformative role also in the region's development, referencing the Prime Minister's Act East, Act Fast and Act First policy, and citing figures also such as the 65 visits and 6.2 lakh crore investments also, and the doubling of roads and airports that you mentioned itself from since 2014. And he also drew parallels also between Assam's growth trajectory and Gujarat model also, which he credited to the Prime Minister's vision that dated back to the 2003 Vibrant Gujarat Summit itself.
Yes. More breaking news, in fact, coming in now. Indian private aerospace company Agnikul has announced the successful firing of India's first electric motor-driven semi-cryogenic engine. The video on your screen, in fact, now shows the engine being throttled across a wide range of thrusts by varying the speed of the electric motor. Electric motor-driven throttling allows for higher accuracy and rapid response, which are important features for handling complex trajectories. Brian Anthony Thomas is joining us live on this big story. Brian, take us through the successful test that Agnikul has conducted and what its ramifications are.
Well, clearly, Uday, in a major leap for India's private space sector, Chennai-based Agnikul Cosmos has successfully test-fired India's first electric motor-driven cryogenic engine. Clearly, also when you see these videos, also of the engine test firing, the engine is seen here being throttled across a wide range of thrust that is achieved control by adjusting the speed of an electric motor that also enables high precision and rapid response, which are both of them are rather very crucial for handling complex trajectories and space missions. Also, very importantly, Uday, like you asked, Agnikol also says that this test also marks a very significant milestone towards flying clustered engines, which is also a very key element for future orbital launches. This engine also uses Agnikol's signature single-piece design with 3D printed subsystems built entirely at this certified facility, that is Rocket Factory 1. This motor also drives and controls softwares that were also developed fully in-house. Clearly, also this development signals growing innovation and maturity in India's private airspace ecosystem, opening new possibilities also for collaboration in the national space program. Yes, Uday.
Brian, appreciate you joining us with those details. On that note, we're slipping into a very short break.
अगर आप बनना